Hello, my name is Liv. Thank you for joining my channel. Today I want to discuss with you, or maybe I should say, what if the relationships that you are glorifying are not even real, authentic, healthy, and loving relationships? Like, I hear a lot of people on social media speak of relationship goals. And most of the time, those relationship goals are celebrities, people that they see on TV. And I want to challenge you to admire and aspire to choose relationships that are in your real life, because I think that people overlook relationships that are in their families or in their family or in their communities. I believe that those relationships get overlooked, and I don't hear a lot of people speak of them openly on social media. But again, I'm not on a lot of platforms. I'm typically on YouTube, and you may see me sometimes on Facebook, and that's when I'm posting something. But I do like to hear what's out there when it comes to relationships, and I don't hear a whole lot of people glorifying or even mentioning healthy, loving relationships that they see in their community or they see in their family. And I want to share with you guys the relationship that I look to, that I role model after. Okay, so if that's something you're interested in, stick with me, and that's what we're going to talk about today, okay? And you may be surprised. It may open your mind and your heart to look within your community, at your church, or even relationships that you see that cross your path. Maybe you're in the grocery store or someone. I love to see love. I love seeing couples. And when we're sitting even at, I go to a lot of sporting events, and I meet new people and they're couples, and they always ask me, about, oh, is it your husband? Are those your children? And I'm like, yeah, I love talking about my family. I mean, don't get me started if you ask me questions about them. But I also, in return, ask them, well, how long have you and your husband been together? Like yesterday, I just went to one of my son's basketball game, and I met this lady. And we have crossed paths before, but we hadn't had the chance to introduce ourselves to each other. So she asked me, she knew my son, and I asked her which one was her son. It happened to be her grandson. And she had said that, she have grandchildren, et cetera, et cetera. And then she said that, her husband was no longer with her, that he passed away in December. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And I was like, well, how long were you guys together? And she was like, over 60 years. Over 60 years. They had 3 children. She had so many grandchildren now. And she was just saying that they had been together since high school. They were together in college. And you can just see her light up inside to speak of him, even though he's no longer here on earth. And the more she talked about it, I can just see how much in love she was with him. And of course she missed him. I didn't ask her a lot of questions about him because she said he passed away in December. I in my head, I'm like, that's still pretty fresh. And I could sympathize with that because I recently lost my mother, and I never wanted to be in that club. But I'm not gonna go down that road. But yeah, so my point is, there are relationships that are around you that you could ask them questions about, and just be like, well, when did you know you were in love with him? I love to hear people love stories, and I'm going to share mine with you guys. Not in this video, but I love sharing my love story with you guys. So I want to redefine what healthy and loving relationships look like. And for me, it was my grandparents. My grandparents were the people that represented what marriage and love was. So my relationship goals, it was always my grandparents and who they were. He's been out there barking because he saw you washing your car. It does look good. It does look good. But Duke was so sad. So I'm sorry, guys. So the present representation matters in relationship. So I saw that firsthand through my grandparents' relationship. And what happens when you have that representation? You believe that it is possible for you. You have something to inspire about. Okay? And also the flip side to that is poor representation can lead you to toxic expectations. And we have a whole lot of that is on social media. And it may seem like they're in love, or they may look like they are a great couple. And what is that anyway? They look good together. Like, define that. What do you mean by that? But anyway, just because, and let's say that they do look good together, don't mean that they are good for each other, right? Excuse me. Because I will tell you one couple that I thought looked really good together, and I felt as if, and I felt like they did have love for each other. They just needed time to heal and to work through some things, and that was Carly B and Offset. I thought that was such a cute couple, and they seemed to be in love. I'm not fans of either of them, but I did know that they were like a big couple that was in the, what do you call it? The celebrity world or hip hop world. So, but just because they will look good together, beautiful kids and family, I wish they could have both worked it out. Maybe not have their relationship on social media. But I did like how real they were. And speaking of some of the challenges that they had in their relationship, I don't know if they had a lot of support around them and I don't know who their role models or representations was in their life, and get some spiritual counseling and learn each other, because them first years you're learning a whole lot about each other and learning how to communicate with each other, and those expectations of some things you can some girls may have let you got away with that Cardi B may not, and vice versa. But I don't want to stay on that subject. I can really get myself caught up in that. But I just want to reiterate, when I grew up, I saw representation. I grew up seeing a lot of Black marriages, and Black love meant a lot to me. Like, I like love in any race and ethnicity. It doesn't matter. Love is love, and I understand that. And I like all sorts of love. But me being a Black woman, I like seeing Black loves. I like seeing Black couples, and I grew up seeing that. And they were Black Christian couples that raised their children, and they were, church-going people back then. They had good character of people. Both parents worked, hard. I used to love seeing them. A lot of the Black couples that I grew up around, they had Cadillacs. They had nice vehicles. Their kids didn't get in a lot of trouble at school. They were good, supportive family, good to the community. I saw a lot of that growing up. And as I said, my grandmother, I loved her relationship. Her being a Christian woman, a woman of grace, her husband being a man of integrity. He's the one, my grandfather owned a lot of properties in our hometown. He worked for everything that he had, and he taught that to his sons. Like I said, he had 11 children that he supported. He was an entrepreneur. He laid concrete and built schools, even in the area that we lived in, and he knew how to work with steel. He farmed his own land. He had chickens and pigs and things of that sort that he fed his family with. And his wife, my grandmother, was a homemaker, but in the homemaker, she looked after her children. She taught them right from wrong. She was a Christian woman, so she was very active in her church. She cooked for everybody in the neighborhood, and her character and how she loved on people, like she would help people with their children. She would raise their children. She would go to their homes and help clean their houses and, cook for their families and look over their children. And those children, the families loved my grandmother and who she was. She was a very caring and sweet and Christian woman that cooked for everyone. When people came by, she always wanted to have something to give them. She prayed for people. And to this day, all the relationships that she made in the community, down from doctors to attorneys to DAs, you name it, insurance men, like all of them knew of my grandmother because she raised them. She worked for their parents. And it wasn't nothing that we ever frowned upon. It was an earnest job back then that she loved, and everyone loved her. She was a very well respected woman that, looked after her children, Christian and working in the community, and always showed herself with grace. And my grandfather, he was the provider. He was the protector. The strong man he was. One thing about my grandfather, you didn't come and upset his wife about anything. He was very protective of her. And he taught his boys to work with their hands, how to, what all the skills that he had, he gave it to his sons. He showed his daughters what a man is supposed to be. He was a very masculine man, very traditional. And my grandmother was the woman with grace that taught her daughters how to care for a man, how to keep a home, how to clean home. Always food on the table when her husband came in. Always kept herself up. Always made sure that she taught her children, about God, and build very great character. I loved my grandmother and how their relationship was. And that was the representation that I had. And that's what I looked for. And that's the things that I prayed for. Even when I was a young girl and I wanted a husband one day. My mother was a single mom, but she taught me a whole lot too. And I will get to talk to you guys about the things that my mother taught me on how to treat a man, because she got it from her mother. So, let me get back to, my grandmother taught me how, about the values that she had to respect, the teamwork, prayer, forgiveness, service, friendships, because she had all those things. Like everyone loved her. To this day, everyone speaks so highly of my grandmother. All of her children may say that, we used to get in trouble and get into things, but my mother was sweet. We had a good mama, but my grandpa, he was the one who cursed like a sailor. My grandmother didn't curse. She didn't use curse words and all that. She was one of those type of Christian women, but my grandfather, on the other hand, he's the one that carried all the guns and knives and would shoot, and he was a hunter, so he was a very manly man. And and that's what I look for in my husband. I wanted to be the type of type of woman and wife my grandmother was, and I wanted the integrity and character of my grandfather. That's what I look for in a man. And so representation matters, so that you can have someone to role model after. Another part is sometimes the danger that comes from idolizing some of your celebrities, that some of their relationships are curated, they're edited, they're not built on a very authentic foundation. Sometimes it's about money, like they say, these power couples. What does that look like, and what does that really give you? Because I know a lot of people with money that's not happy. I know a lot of people that have money that has done some horrible things to get where they're going. I'd rather just live with peace. I'd rather just get it the earnest way, and that's God's way. I don't want any money that's if it's not coming from the Lord and authentic, So you have to be careful on what you see and all the glam and all the money and all this. These people are really miserable and they get themselves into some really horrible stuff. And they probably wasn't even that way at first because they want the illusion of everything is great. It was this show that came on. I didn't watch it, but I used to cross over. I think it was on the OWN network, and it had a lot of happy couples, celebrity couples. And then it wasn't long that I saw the majority of those couples that was sitting on the couch and speaking about their relationship. They're all divorced now. But they was portraying as if they given this advice on what a real couple is supposed to look like and what real love is. And I think it was called Black Love or something like that. And most of those couples are not even together. And then if you watch reality shows, and I used to watch them and I just stopped watching them because I felt as if it was such a distraction, because a lot of those shows on reality TV is breaking up homes, is breaking up marriages, not building them together and having that support system. And if they are having trouble in their marriage where people are actually praying for you, that's how it was from what I remember, how my grandfather and grandparents were, and the families that I grew up around, they will actually pray for you. But now if someone find out that you and your husband are having challenging times, that woman may end up sleeping with it, or the man may end up sleeping with it. Like, it's just so, it's so, what's the word? Disgusting. Like, it's just like no one is really showing any compassion. You have people that just waiting for your downfall so that they could step in. And that's not godly. That's not, I mean, I don't know how people feel good about themselves for doing that. So I feel like a lot of people in relationships, they don't have enough people around them with real, genuine, authentic love and want them to, their relationship to succeed too. They will help tear your relationship up, especially on these reality shows, and then act for sympathy like, oh, I wish they would have made it. Well, you were talking down on them. But now that they're single, now it makes them feel better because they either, if they are in a relationship, it ain't healthy, or they don't have a relationship at all. So they're going to do everything they can to tear yours up so you can be in the same category as them, which is kind of pathetic when they can be happy themselves. And you can't allow whatever happened in your past to dictate the people or men or women in your future. You have to forgive and let those things go so that you can have real love enter into your life. So a lot of those shows, when you come to just celebrities, they one of their main goals is tearing your relationship down. If you have one, they're going to find a way to find some dirt on whoever your man is for sure. And make sure you find out about it. So, yeah, to be honest with you, when I'm speaking about celebrity relationships, there are only a handful of them that I would say that's worth having a goal, a relationship goal for, and even in those times, you don't want to idolize them. You can be inspired and admire their relationship, but you don't want to idolize them. You want to pray that God send you the husband or the man that you want in your life that's for you. Excuse me. And the celebrities that I would say, I probably can name a few. I wrote me some notes down so I can kind of stay on track here. The ones that I admire, that I would say that's authentic, and again, I don't know these people personally, but if I had to name some celebrities or well-known people, it will probably be Denzel and Pauletta Washington. If you want to really say relationship goals, then it will be theirs. You do not see her trying to be in the public's eye. You don't see her, she's probably raising her children, and she's probably have her own life as well, that she don't need to tag on to her husband's. She's good with herself and the way that he respects her. And just what I've seen, from the outside looking in, of course, though, that will be a relationship that I don't hear a lot of people well, you don't idolize, but say relationship goals too. And I would say Dr. Ben Carson and his wife Candy. I don't hear anyone saying those. Those are relationship goals. That will be someone that you can inspire to have a relationship like theirs. And I would want one day, I really don't care. I was just about to say, I would want to pick their brains. I don't care if I don't. I just don't, I'm not that big on celebrities. They're just like everyone else. That's what people forget. Like, they're just people. And there's people that are like them that's around you. So I'm wishing them well, but if I had to say, I would say them. And Todd and Julie Chrisley, I just heard about them. I used to watch the Chrisley show, and Nanny Faye is I love Nanny Faye. She is so wonderful and family, but their entire family, I would say Todd and Julie Chrisley. If you can stick together, those are the real ones that have went to prison and federal prison, both of them, and still there in raising their children. Savannah, their daughter, did an amazing job with fighting for their parents when they couldn't because they were incarcerated. So I love that couple, and look what the challenges that they had to go through. And then when he was released, he spoke of his faith and his Christianity and him praying to God, to help him through that. And that was horrible. It's another couple that that probably is an odd couple for me. I will even say that I see. I don't know a whole lot about them, but I would say Clarissa Shields and Papoose. Now, I think he's a rapper, but I watched her boxing, and she has such a incredible story on where she's come from and not allowing where she came from and her struggles in life to hold her back. So I didn't get to watch her movie, but I heard about it. But her as a boxer, and she seems so genuine. She seems like a really sweetheart, and she's grown now. I think Papoose is a little older than her, but she's a great age right now she can date. I don't know. I don't remember how old he is, but I like that couple, and it seems as if he's very supportive of her. I'm praying that they reach wherever level God wants for them. I know Clarissa talks about God a lot, and she prays, and she's a really good fighter, boxer, or what, women boxing. So that was one that I'm rooting for, that relationship. Is there any more relationships? I don't watch a whole lot, but again, I will encourage you guys. I wanted to say healthy love isn't rare, you guys. It just doesn't go viral. It's because I hear people say, oh, seeing Black love is rare, or seeing any couples is rare. It's not rare. We're here, we're out here, we're just not on social media. I would like for us to be more, not just Black love, all love, Christian love. Let's start there. I want more Christian love. They're active Christian love. Okay, not the ones that's for show. I know my mouth is dry. Yeah. And I want, like I told you guys before, I was intentional about my prayers for the kind of love I wanted. And I had my representation and the role model that I had from my grandparents. And I learned a lot from my mother, even though she was a single woman, but she knew how to love a man and how to care for him. And I learned that from him. And I taught my children that. I became the representation. I've been with my husband for 26 years. I'm going to always, I didn't even know that was a flex. My kids say, Mom, that's a flex. And since they told me that, I'm like, is it? Okay. I'm using it then. Yeah. I've been with my daughter's laughing at me. But yeah, that's a flex. I'm using it. I've been married for 22 years. I'm 44. Do the math. We have 4 children together and a dog. So I'm using it. I became their representation. So my children tells me right now, they look for men that have the character of their father. And I prayed for that man. And God revealed him to me. And it was beautiful. And I'm going to tell you guys my love story. Let me know if you want to hear it. But I'm going to tell it if you don't want to hear it. But yeah, and I want to hear you guys too. Okay? And I want you guys to be intentional on who you're praying for and look for that. Or ask for stories. Your parents or your grandparents or your aunties and uncles, you know, learn their love stories, you know, and when you're around, when you're in a mall or wherever you're at, look for those real couples. You can tell when someone is really happy. Happy couples want others to be happy. That's one, what do you call it, a tip. When you are really happy, you want others to be happy. You want them to experience that for themselves and for God to bring them the love of their lives. Okay, so I want to ask you guys, who has modeled a healthy relationship for you in your life? Okay? And start looking for that, okay? All right, well, I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you guys for staying to the end. And again, love is not rare. It's not. You can have that for yourself. And I'm wishing that for you guys, okay? Thank you for joining me. My name is Liv, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.